Hello, I'm Stephan, co-executive producer of MHS News. I'm joined with Gabe, staff reporter of MHS News, and this is a Marquette Messenger podcast of top 5 Netflix originals movies/series.
Yeah.
So, let me get my notes out. I know you've got your little notepad there. Do you want to start with your 5th spot, or do you? All right,
Yeah,
you
so
go ahead.
All right. The bottom one is Lost in Space. It's there because I don't watch this on my own. I only watched it if my sister and my mom was there because we watched it together. And when they started watching without me, I just stopped watching entirely. Mm-hmm. But I still liked it. I just never cared to watch it on my own. So,
Gotcha. My 5th is Bridgerton, which is a show about it's like old-timey and medieval, and there's princes and queens. I personally haven't watched this show before, but I know a lot of people that like it, and it's been on Netflix for so long that there's multiple spin-off series, and then there's 3 seasons of the main show, and it's just been such a core of Netflix, and it's been so popular, and it's stood the test of time for so many years that I thought it would be hard for me to not put it on the list, even though I haven't watched it myself. All right, what's your 4?
well, some people might not like it, but my number 4 is Stranger Things.
Okay, that's a little low.
Well, it's just personal preference, but it's a good show, and I couldn't really decide between 4 or 3, but it's something I haven't watched any time recently.
Right.
I'm not caught up with the
the lore, the new lore.
I
and
have
stuff.
not caught up to most recent stuff. I watched midway through season 4. I think it's one where the monster becomes fleshy.
Yeah, that's season 4.
After 11 gets scratched.
Yeah.
That's the episode where I last left off on. Back when I think the month when that season came out.
Yeah.
I have yet to continue watching it.
Oh, dude, you got to finish that out because season 5 is dropping soon. Stranger Things at 4, that's a hot take. My 4 also might be a hot take. I have Squid Games at my 4. I think Squid Games, that first season was so good. I think if that first season stood alone, it probably would have been a little higher on my list. But season 2, I personally haven't watched it because I thought season 1 was such a good ending, right? It just made sense. Season 2, I've heard some people said it was some people kind of like it, but overall, it's not as highly perceived as that first season. So that does knock it down a couple spots for me. But overall, its popularity was crazy when it first came out. And it was just an enjoyable watch. I was glued to my screen watching it. So that's going to be my 4.
Well, speaking of Squid Games, that's my number 3.
Okay.
I have watched the first couple episodes of season 2. The review said does make sense. The changing in hair color at the end of it, not as relevant.
Yeah, it's just disappears.
Yeah, I did watch it in English and in the original language. I'm surprised with the lip syncing.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate. It just hits my entertainment. Right?
Yeah. All right, my number 3 is going to be a newer one. It's going to be Baby Reindeer. This show is about a guy who's gone through a lot of trauma in his life, and it's basically him just reliving it, and the core of it is that he has this stalker that keeps following him. This show was so powerful. When I watched it, it was it's a hard watch at certain points for sure, but it is such a powerful message. All of the acting is phenomenal. The cinematography is great. I mean, I really don't have any bad things to say about Baby Reindeer. I have it at 3 because it's not like there's going to be more seasons coming out. It's kind of like a one and done. But I like that it stands alone, it stands its ground, and it's a really good piece of art that I just enjoyed thoroughly. So that's going to be my 3.
All right. My number 2 is Inside Job.
Okay, I've heard of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically where every conspiracy theory is true, and there's certain companies that try and hide it all. Illuminati. This is, can't remember the main company's name, but the characters in it, our job is to make sure all of this is hidden.
Yeah.
But every single one of the main characters has some sort of personal issue.
So it's kind of like, I've heard pretty loosely about this one, but from what you're saying, it's pretty interconnected with everyone having their own motives.
Yes, one main character, Reagan, she has major parent issues. Her dad was not a good person at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but he did like delete memories of her best friend in elementary school, so she wouldn't have anything holding her back.
Wow. So, yeah, is that a show? That's a show, right?
Yes, it's a show.
I might have to watch that one because I've heard good things. My number 2 is Stranger Things. I know you had that farther down on your list. Stranger Things, I think as it goes on, I kind of enjoy it less. I think it's just because I'm getting older, and I'm also just kind of getting old with Stranger Things, you know? But, I mean, that is one of the best first seasons that you can find in TV shows. That first season is insane, and while the quality has died down a little bit as it's been going, it's still good, it's still entertaining, because there's shows that I look back on that I watched, like Outer Banks, which is just like, to me now, like when I watched it in 7th grade, I was like, oh, that's so cool. But now I'm just like, this is really corny and the writing's bad. But Stranger Things is one of those shows that as I watch it while I'm getting older, I can still enjoy it. I think the writing's still pretty good. And also, like, I have to put it high just because sheer popularity. Like, it is one of the most popular shows in the world. So I have to give it its, I've got to, give it credit where credit is due and put it at my number 2.
Have you ever seen those videos where people go into depths of the sometimes villains or main characters of these really old kids shows? It's like, there's one about the main villain in a kids princess show,
Right.
where this necklace is very important. The wizard, can't remember any of the names, the wizard always messed up his magic because someone always interrupted him doing it, and he would just blame for it. It was never his fault, but he was always blamed for it. So we thought he was supposed to be the villain, and there was this, I think, crow that convinced him that he was supposed to be evil, and he did complete his objective, but he became friends with the main character, so he's completely miserable.
Wow.
It's like the show is like, but you can just enjoy it even regardless of your age.
Exactly, yeah.
My number 1 is Umbrella Academy.
Okay, yeah. I haven't watched Umbrella Academy, which I think is kind of crazy because it's so popular, but I haven't gotten around to doing it.
All right, so it's about these siblings. They're not blood related at all, but they were all adopted.
Gotcha.
And under the thing of the Umbrella Academy, because they were all born at the exact same time. Their parents were maybe virgins, but they were all born at the same time. They all have some sort of power. One has super strength and somewhat invulnerability. One can control projectiles, one vibrations, one can control people and somewhat a little bit reality. One can move through space and time. I feel like I'm forgetting one.
That's all right, but they all got superpowers.
Yeah, and there's more, but those are the ones that their dad got a hold of. And each season they have to stop the end of the world, which is like a few days away.
Oh,
constantly.
Dang. Okay. So, but how many seasons are there? That one's been going for a while, right?
3. I'm not sure about 4, but they're all pretty good. Season 3 was odd, but the ending made some of season 1 a little cooler, especially the ending.
All right, yeah. So now it's down to my number 1, and this is the one and only Netflix original movie between our 2 lists. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's All Quiet on the Western Front, but the remake. This movie is such a journey. Like, it shows just like just heartlessness that you'll see in war, especially in World War One. So it's about World War One on the Western Front, but from the German side of things. And oh my God, is it beautiful! Like, the opening scene is just like showing this poor guy dying in battle, and then like how like his clothes and things like just like get washed and given to a new person. And it just shows like how these war machines really just don't care about the people that they're hurting. And it is long, but it is beautiful. The writing's amazing. The cinematography is some of the best I've ever seen. It's an absolutely wonderful movie, and I encourage everyone to watch it. It'll open your eyes to a new perspective that you might not have ever seen, and I just think it's great.
You convinced me to watch that, yeah.
Yeah, man, you got to.
Is it gory?
Somewhat. It's not terrible, I wouldn't say. It's probably around like a regular like World War I, World War II movie. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, I think that's the podcast, right?
Yeah, to be honest, that wouldn't really deter me. Umbrella Academy 6 pretty gory.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where a bunch of eggs gets brutally murdered.
Oh my God. Okay. So that is our top 5 Netflix originals. We hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.